Progressive Policy Institute estimated that in 2018, we invested more than $20 billion in the US.
The same points keep occurring to me from the families and the children themselves. And
what the Oxfam report's done today is highlight the importance of tackling it across all sectors.
We can say with certainty that if we don't act, that this inequality will only manifest even more in the aftermath of this pandemic.
We're behind our competitors. The most popular messaging service in the US is iMessage. The fastest growing app is TikTok.
There's a number of those who, at the start of the pandemic, did not realise how long the impact would last, and now they've racked up large balances that they will not be able to spend before their child no longer needs wraparound childcare.
Chancellor confirmed that the most important thing right now is support for local authorities to deliver public services in constituencies like mine in Dudley North.
He's also been on my daughter's podcast, and Matthew recently wrote a book, Green Lights.
And the evidence that I would suggest would be useful for you to consider in that regard.
When I was about 15, actually, a psychiatrist did suggest I might have bipolar disorder.
And this value chain starts from assessing for potential.
It's really interesting for us. We have thousands of job openings at Amazon in cloud computing, distributed computing.
In India, I mean, the primary learning, which was very evident, is that there's a lot of interest amongst consumers in India to try Netflix. We had millions of people that had access for a 48-hour period to the service.
Just invite him to recall how we had to put VAT onto of the people who will ultimately be paying for the Treasury's support. So what can be done? Perhaps using a version of the FSB's suggested Directors' Income Support Scheme.
And obviously that's still a big number, especially when you think about it in context of...
One of my constituents, a bar owner, told me that her business is slowly going under and that she stands to lose everything.
I'm a student at Central Foundation Boys School, and I set up a petition to make the education more BAME inclusive.
We're living through extraordinary times. I want to first extend my deepest sympathies to all who have been impacted by COVID-19.
As my right honourable friend will be aware, businesses in the hospitality industry have been subject to restrictions since the beginning of the pandemic.
About it in competitive terms, you think about Christmas Day 2020, where you have an enormously anticipated film like Wonder Woman 84.
Of balance or sustainable. And when something is off, and it's off for a prolonged period of time, maybe I haven't.
Which the large retailers have returned in unused business rate relief.
And cannot afford to lose any income. I asked the Chancellor again, will he go away and look at what extra support can be given to ensure that people isolating do not lose any income?
And I learned that nobody, especially now when the world changes so fast in tech, nobody will ever know 100% of anything.
It doesn't really help us, and we want to stay focused on capturing and earning that subscription from each person or organically rather than.
As Steve put it, we only make things that we'd recommend to our family and friends. You can try to define this difference in a lot of ways. The gaps remain. Freelancers, limited company directors, those refused furlough, pregnant women who've lost out, as well as those in annual PAYE.
So I'm Esme. I'm the co-host of the organisation Impact of Emission, who did a big survey recently to ascertain how people had been taught.
What the government is doing to support this £4 billion industry for the UK.